In the violent and powerful underworld, the Triads and the Yakuza not only represent crime but also reflect cultural and social conflicts. Yet, what is even more remarkable? Women are not merely bystanders. They are secret leaders, mediators, or simply pawns in the hands of the powerful. The Triads grant them freedom but with high risks, while the Yakuza protect them within traditions but bind their roles. Is the power women achieve a sign of progress or merely a painful adaptation? The answer is not simple, but this very contrast makes the story more complex and captivating than ever. The Triads and Yakuza represent two completely opposing organizational approaches within the underworld. The Triads, originating from secret societies in China, operate with a fragmented structure. Branches function independently and flexibly, allowing for greater participation by women. They can assert their roles in areas such as money laundering, smuggling, or managing gambling operations. A notable example is Big Sister Ping, a renowned human trafficking boss. However, the lack of protection in this fragmented system leaves them vulnerable to both allies and enemies. In contrast, the Yakuza follows a traditional family structure with a clear and strict hierarchy. Women often hold the role of an-san, elder sister. As wives or relatives of senior members, they are responsible for internal management, mediating conflicts, and maintaining relationships between branches. However, their power is confined to the family framework, making it difficult for them to access decision-making positions. The Triads offer freedom but come with risks, while the Yakuza provides protection but restricts women within tradition. This raises the question: which environment truly allows women to develop sustainable power? The Triads and Yakuza differ not only in their organizational structures but also in their methods of operation, where the role of women highlights significant contradictions. The Triads, with their flexible nature, engage in various illegal activities, from drug and arms trafficking to running casinos and human trafficking networks. Women in the Triads are often tasked with smuggling contraband across borders or managing smuggling operations, leveraging the invisibility their gender provides. Some even take on roles as assassins or spies, like a renowned female member in Southeast Asia who used her ingenuity and bravery to eliminate rivals. However, this pragmatism also turns them into tools, easily sacrificed by the organization if necessary. In contrast, the Yakuza operates with discipline and tradition, alongside illegal activities such as extortion and loan sharking. The Yakuza also participates in legitimate industries like construction and investment. Women often manage these businesses, ensuring the organization has a sustainable financial foundation. They also mediate internal conflicts, but their roles remain confined within traditional frameworks. The Triads offer women flexibility but fail to provide safety, while the Yakuza offers protection but imposes restrictions. This raises the question: does the freedom in the Triads or the stability in the Yakuza present a better path for women in the contradictory world of the underworld? The way the Triads and Yakuza handle tense situations, maintain order, and punish traitors not only reflects the nature of their crimes but also reveals how they view the role of women within their systems. This difference continues to spark debate about how power and responsibility are distributed. The Triads are infamous for their uncompromising use of violence. Internal purges and confrontations with rival organizations often occur in a direct and brutal manner. The fragmented nature of the organization forces them to rely on violence to resolve conflicts, send deterrent messages, and assert power. In this context, women are not excluded from the machinery of violence. On the contrary, they sometimes play central roles. Many women in the Triads take on roles as assassins, spies, or enforcers of violence to protect their faction's interests. Stories of big sisters who decisively eliminate traitors or deal with those who dare to challenge authority are not uncommon. A notable case is a female assassin in the Hong Kong Triads, known for her cold demeanor and flawless execution of tasks. Women's presence in these roles is not only a symbol of equality, but also demonstrates the organization's sheer pragmatism. For the Triads, regardless of gender, as long as you bring value to the organization, you will be entrusted with tasks. But is this truly an opportunity for women? or merely a way to exploit their abilities to serve collective goals? In contrast, the Yakuza adheres to a strict system of rules and honor. Their most famous form of punishment is yubutsume, the ritual of finger amputation to atone for wrongdoing. This serves not only as a means of punishment but also as an expression of accountability to the organization. Interestingly, women in the Yakuza rarely undergo yubutsume, not because they never make mistakes, but because they are kept far from direct duties that could lead to major errors. Women in the Yakuza seldom participate in confrontations or violent actions. Instead, they play roles as mediators or maintainers of internal stability. There are stories of An-san, who intervened to prevent power struggles between branches of the organization, preserving harmony without bloodshed. However, this immunity to violence also confines them within traditional frameworks, where they are separated from the true centers of power. Another controversial aspect is how the Yakuza protects women within the organization. While they are shielded from dangerous situations, women occasionally become tools in conflicts. In some cases, they are used as collateral in negotiations or held hostage to force the organization into concessions. This raises a significant question. Does the protection offered by the Yakuza stem from genuine respect? Or is it merely a means of control? When comparing the two organizations, the contrast in how women engage in tense situations becomes clear. The Triads do not discriminate by gender when assigning tasks, but the lack of stability and protection makes women in the organization highly vulnerable. Meanwhile, the Yakuza, while shielding women from direct dangers, places them in passive roles where their power is limited by traditional frameworks. So, which is the better choice? A woman in the Triads, with the ability to make decisions and act freely, may face betrayal and danger at any moment. Conversely, a woman in the Yakuza, though protected, is never truly empowered to take control of her destiny. Both scenarios leave open questions that challenge listeners to ponder the concepts of power and equality in the underworld. More importantly, both organizations reflect a broader societal reality. In a world where power often comes with violence and sacrifice, women face unique challenges when participating in systems that were inherently not designed for them. Is their presence in these roles a sign of progress, or merely another form of exploitation under the guise of equality? These questions are not easy to answer, and it is the contradiction in how the Triads and Yakuza treat women that creates a multi-dimensional picture of power in the underworld. But the story does not end here. As we delve deeper into the broader impacts of women's roles in these two organizations, will the picture become clearer or even more complex? Stay tuned to uncover more. When delving deeply into the organizational structure, operational methods, and criminal nature of the Triads and Yakuza, it becomes clear that both organizations offer women vastly different opportunities and challenges. However, on a broader scale, the role of women in these two underground powers is not merely a story of power or protection. It also reflects how society perceives women, and even how traditional mindsets have shifted over time. In the Triads, women are granted more freedom due to the organization's fragmented structure. However, this freedom comes with uncertainty. They must fight for their positions, face dangers, and risks from both adversaries and allies. This is an environment where survival always demands maximum adaptability. Some may consider this equality, since women in the Triads can perform the same tasks as men, from directing operations to participating in violent acts. But the question arises, is this equality truly progress, or just a way for the organization to exploit their abilities without offering safety or stability? Conversely, the Yakuza presents a contrasting approach. Women are protected, spared from direct violence, and often serve as mediators or managers of legitimate businesses. However, they are still confined to a system where real power lies in the hands of men. And An-san may be respected, but only within the scope of her family or relationships. This raises a significant issue. Does the Yakuza's protection of women stem from genuine respect? Or is it simply a way to maintain male dominance within the organization? Another noteworthy point is how these two organizations reflect the role of women within a larger societal context. The Triads, with their flexibility and pragmatism, allow women to assert themselves in a society where gender discrimination still exists. However, the price for this is instability, danger, and sometimes significant personal sacrifice. On the other hand, the Yakuza, steeped in tradition, shields women from danger but simultaneously limits their ability to demonstrate their capabilities in decisive roles. This contrast not only exists within these organizations but also raises broader questions about how modern society should treat women in positions of power. Additionally, compared to other criminal organizations worldwide, such as the Italian Mafia or the Mexican cartels, the Triads and Yakuza are unique in how they incorporate culture and tradition into their operations. In the Italian Mafia, women are often kept outside the organization except in rare cases. In the Mexican cartels, women often take on roles directly tied to violence and power, sometimes breaking through gender barriers altogether. So, when placing the Triads and Yakuza in this context, is cultural difference the deciding factor in how they treat women? Or is it merely an adaptation to societal circumstances? These questions will undoubtedly elicit varied opinions from audiences. Some may feel that the Triads, with their flexibility, offer better opportunities for women to assert themselves. Others may argue that the Yakuza, with its traditional structure, provides better protection for women, especially in a world rife with danger. And of course, there are neutral perspectives that suggest neither organization truly represents progress for women, merely reflecting the practical demands of the underworld. The notable point is that whether in the Triads or the Yakuza, women must make sacrifices to survive. In the Triads, they trade safety for freedom. In the Yakuza, they trade freedom for protection. The biggest question for audiences to ponder is, in a harsh environment like the underworld, is there truly an ideal choice for women? Or are all choices merely forms of adaptation to circumstances, where power always comes at a cost? Looking back at the entire story, one thing is clear. The role of women in the Triads and Yakuza is not just a narrative about crime. It is a mirror reflecting the contradictions in how society views women. From the pragmatism of modernity to the conservatism of tradition. And it is these contradictions that make the story complex, challenging, yet profoundly fascinating. Will audiences choose to side with one perspective in this debate? The Triads with their freedom but inherent risks? Or the Yakuza with their protection but constraints? That is a question for each individual to answer. But it will surely not be an easy one. This story extends beyond the underworld, offering deeper insights into the role of women in modern society. Triads and Yakuza, two major symbols of Asia's underworld, not only contrast in structure and operations but also in how they treat women. Stories of power, sacrifice, and struggle remain an unresolved puzzle. If you're captivated by this contradictory world, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Join us as we continue to explore the lesser-known aspects of power and humanity in the shadows of the underworld.